Hiya, Robert. Mr. Z. This is my entry to your March contest. And in order to not be disqualified, I've picked out my Japanese kimono to put on, which is, it's a little bit creased because it's been folded away in a drawer for quite a while. I usually only wear this in warm summer weather because it's fantastic at keeping you cool. Yes, it's a lovely kind of minty green, I guess, with Japanese designs and things on it. I didn't actually get this from Japan, as in the country, but it is made in Japan. It's the real deal. It's made of silk, and I got it in Florida at the Japan World Showcase at the Epcot Centre at Walt Disney World one year when I was on holiday. So there you go. And just for good measure in the background, that is my dad's. Yeah, it is my dad's. It's not actually mine. His football scarf for our local team, Hibernian, who the colours are green and white. So it is not Celtic, it is Hibernian, just for those who were wondering. That's that. I do have a green kind of sweater type thing, but I thought it'll be far too warm if I put that on. The t-shirt I've got on as well has a green trim. This is a darker green, white and green. So, and your March contest requires the green items and a wee bit of chat about Record Store Day. Well, so you love Record Store Day. How do I feel about Record Store Day? I don't really mind it, to be honest. I'm fairly new to the whole Record Store Day thing. I was aware of it probably around about, 2014 or something, but didn't really take much notice of it at the time. But I became more aware, if you like, of it in 2016, when I realised that it was kind of like an event, and that bands were starting to release kind of limited editions or special editions of whatever, specifically for this day called Record Store Day. Because previous to that, my music, I'm just really kind of getting back into my music last year's when it all kind of came back in a big way. Before that, I was basically listening to the odd thing on my iPod via stuff I'd downloaded of iTunes or whatever. And just recently, last year I guess, I just decided I wanted a proper music system back, like in the old days. To get out your old records and your old CDs that I had. And this is how I basically came across the vinyl community, was finding people that were making videos on YouTube about the record collection, and I thought this was really fascinating. And then, so Record Store Day 2017, there was something that was released that day that did interest me, and although I didn't pick it up on the day, I did pick it up later. I think it was last year I picked it up. So as far as my pickups go, I only have one item in my collection that is a Record Store Day release, which I will show. So I thought, well, that's just, but again, it's because I was never really aware of it until, a couple of years ago, and never became fully aware of what it was until, a couple of years ago. So, but what I would think of it is it doesn't really excite me a great deal. I've had a look at this year's list, which is just recently out for 2019, and there's nothing that jumps out of me that I must have that, or I need to get that. I've had a quick look through. There's one or two items of interest, but I'm not going to rush out on Record Store Day and queue at the shop before it opens. That's not really my thing in general. I never understood the people who would go and camp outside a store when their sale was about to start, on a particular day, and they'd go and camp out at the store at 3 o'clock in the morning to wait for it opening. Nah. I'd much rather be in my bed. So that isn't really... And I would say that if it turns out to be a bit mad in some record stores, and I watched Karsten's video because he's put one up about his record door stay experiences, people looking over your shoulder and people squeezing in to grab something in front of you, and that is not my thing either. I really don't like that. That's just plain rude, and it's plain typical of today's society. It's all about me, and me. Unfortunately, there's a complete lack of respect as far as that goes. So I wouldn't like that. That would irritate me if it was crowdy, people shoving and squeezing in and not even saying "excuse me, would you mind" or anything like that. That would annoy me, I think. However, as far as Record Store Day itself goes, if it helps vinyl grow in the 21st century, in the digital age, if it helps the physical media, even cassettes and CDs as well, because I know AC/DC released Back in Black on cassette last year, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. If it helps physical media formats, the physical formats, I am all for it, because I think certainly in this day and age, vinyl and CDs and tapes need all the help it can get. So I like the idea for that point of it. The downside would be that some artists see it as a way to make extra money. Unfortunately, that would be, but it's a business, it's an industry where you're supposed to make money, I guess, so that is by the by. So that's really all I can say about it. So obviously I don't prepare anything specific for Record Store Day. Nowadays, once I hear that the lists come out, I will have a look at it. And if there happens to be something that, I really would like to have that, then I would make a note of places that I can maybe seek it out. And if it's something very important to me, I may go down that day, but I don't know that I'd want to be there right at opening time. I might go down later. Either than that, otherwise I would probably just wait a few weeks later, or a month later even, and see what my chances are in the local shops and then online. Now I know some things would go up in price because online sellers are pretty good at trying to make a profit of limited editions, etc, etc. Excuse me. But for me personally, I wouldn't make any preferences or preparation rather. unless it was something. If it, for example, Def Leppard miraculously decided to release some unofficial audio concert from the High and Dry tour with a bonus DVD or something, then I would be right there, because that would, that would be stuff, never before seen as Steve Clark. So, and, him being, I mention him in just about all my videos, but so, that is an example of something that would make me determined to get a copy by whatever means, but I wouldn't resort to clattering somebody over the head with a hammer or anything, that would just be ridiculous, and I don't endorse craziness in that respect. So, so it is what it is. If there's something that interests me, great. At the moment, I've got it up here on the screen under this camera that I'm doing, and there's a couple of things I've hummed and hawed over, but nothing's jumping out at me. For example, Madonna's got a version of La Isla Bonita, one of her hits from back in the day, and that's my favourite song by her. I love the Spanish guitar in it. So I might consider that, perhaps. Robert Plant's got his Fate of Nations album coming out, I think, again. It could be something I might look at. I don't know. I'm just not sure. But, nothing specific. So for this year, I probably won't be doing anything for Record Store Day. So I will show you the one Record Store Day item that I do have. This is it. Hang on a minute. Where have I landed it? Here it is. Now this was from Record Store Day in 2017, and it's the Def Leppard EP, and they released this on 12-inch. This originally was a 7-inch back in 1979. 7-inch handmade paper sleeve and inner lyric sheet. There was 1,000 of them made, and it was on a red Bludgeon Rufola label, so it's Bludgeon Rufola Records. So this has been made in 12-inch format as a reissue, and with the same front and back cover, obviously. There is differences. Now it says 33 1/3 RPM there, of course. The original EP does play at 33 1/3, but this, although it says that there, it actually plays at 45, and it doesn't actually indicate anywhere on it that it plays at 45. So if you don't know that, and you've got, you might put this on at 33 by accident, because misleadingly, true to the original label, it does have 33 1/3 RPM down here, but it's not, it's 45. So it's no wonder I have heard of a couple of people playing this at their own speed, obviously, until they figured that out. Now, so this, it's a replica to almost as exact as they could almost get it. And this, it's a printed out shiny paper copy of what was the original lyric sheet. So there's, let me just check. Yeah, there's the lyrics for the overture, which is there was 3 tracks, and on this side, Riding to the Sun and Get Your Rocks Off, and you kind of have like drawings of the members of the band. There's only 4 of them there, incidentally, because Rick Allen wasn't in the band at this point, and the drummer was Frank Noon, who played in the next band at the time. He played the drums on this EP for them. So that's how that would come. Obviously, with this being in 2017, it does say UMC, Universal Music. But back in the day, it was just purely bludgeon with roller. Now, the original, again, when you compare this to the original, and I don't have an original red label pressing, unfortunately, because it's very expensive to get one nowadays, but they got a couple of things wrong on the labels, which annoyed me, because being a die-hard fan, I noticed things like that. But in the writing credits down on here, you have they've put Steve Clark's surname, Clark, with an E on the end here, which there is no E on his name, and there never has been, and so on the original it's spelled correctly, and on this reissue it's spelled incorrectly. And on this side as well, where you have Overture, for the writing credits you've got Elliott and Willis, however on the original it was Elliott, Willis and Clark, and Savage also had writing credits for this song as well, so two of the names have been missed out altogether. You know, and if you're going to reissue things, especially like this, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's important to make the effort to get things right. I mean, these are basics. These are band members' names and songwriting credits. These are things that should be known and should be checked, you know. However, it is what it is, and, you know, because obviously I will never be able to afford the original thing, I thought this will be a good one to have. So there you have my one and only Record Store Day item, Robert. Just going to put this back in here. And just for a bit of fun, before this video gets far too long, I'm good at babbling, I have to confess. I thought I would pull out a few, let's put that over there. I thought I'd pull out a few of my other albums, CDs, a few CDs and a few records of albums that have a green colouring or green tinge, kind of like what Karsten did. I thought what he did was a nice touch. So green colour featuring on Magnum. This is Lost on the Road to Eternity from 2018. This is a Japanese press actually, but the OBI strips inside. Then Wishbone Ash, which is a kind of a pale green, kind of similar to this maybe. The Essential Collection. Then Mike Oldfield with Crises. And of course Fleetwood Mac, the greatest hits. And some vinyl. Picked up a few with green featuring. This is Tigers of Pantang and The Cage. And on the back it's a pale green background here. And I'll just move that along. We have the debut album from Strange Ways. This is a Scottish band, 80s melodic rock. Green again, it's a gold stamp promo. I have this is a Swedish band, Swedish 80s metal, 80s rock, 220 volts. Eye to Eye, which is green. And finally I have Big Country, Scottish band, great man, kind of pop rock, melodic rock, big 80s following, and their debut The Crossing, and this is the green cover. This also came in blue and red covers as well. This is the green one. So there is my wee bit on Record Store Day, and I hope that's good enough, along with my outfit here for this is so comfy, this thing, it's magic, to get in. And I shall, if you've not subscribed to Robert Z, you're really missing a treat. These videos are such good fun. He's all about having fun, and a very down to earth guy. He usually, if you are feeling a bit down, and you're going into the VC for some, music, your music fix or whatever, your record fix, Robert Z, he's guaranteed to pick you up. So I'll leave a link to his channel. If you've not already subscribed, you should definitely do so. Thanks, and thanks, Robert, for doing a March contest. You've done January and February already, which is amazing of you, and to do a March is really very generous. So yeah, good luck to everybody that enters, and I'll see you all in another video.